Hello and welcome. I've been meaning to redo this video for quite a while, but I've not had chance in this last year. Anyway, here's a short video on how to make miniature bases using Blender 4.0. The method itself hasn't actually changed since the other video, but regardless, I'm doing it anyway. Start off by making a cylinder. If you set any alternates in this little box down here, they'll stay if you decide to redo it. Set the radius to 16mm, this will make a 32mm disc. There's a few things I don't like about this one, so I'm going to end up swapping it out anyway. I'd rather have more vertices around the edge, make it a bit rounder. So do it again. You should have kept those settings, and all I'll do is double the number of vertices. Now I press Tab to enter edit mode. Press 3 on the number bar at the top to enter face select. I'm just going to inset the face a little bit just to make the top face ready for adding a lot of geometry. Inset it again and then delete the selected face. X, select faces. Press 2. That'll switch it to edge select, and Alt and click to select the edge. Now we're going to put in a grid fill. When I find it, it is in the face menu there. With this still selected, I'm going to subdivide it to add lots and lots of geometry. That should do for now. Next up, I'm just going to get the bottom face. Just select the edges. I'm just going to put a little bevel on it, just in case I decide to put a subdivision surface. I don't have to worry about it curving the edge that way. I decided just to crease it all anyway, but it doesn't matter. Next up, I want all the middle faces reselected. How you go about it, it's up to you. I just inverted the selection. Pressed Control and minus to deselect a row. I'm going to do a Control and numpad plus to reselect them again. And these I will turn into a vertex group, I just assign and check that it's worked properly. So deselect everything by pressing A twice, and then in the vertex groups you can just click select and it should select them all. Now that's the setup done, we're ready to add some modifiers. I'll start off by adding a displacement modifier. Set the vertex group to the group you've made, and it will only affect those vertices on the top. Click a new texture. This little button goes down to the texture panel straight away. And you can just have a play with all the settings. make something you like. If it's a little pixely like this, I would add a subsurface modifier above the displacement for the order of operations. Gives the extra geometry, and it should look pretty decent. Next, I'm going to show you a method of getting a bit more control over the texture. I'm going to use UV mapping and unwrapping just to get a bit more control, as I said. So first off, with these faces selected, go to UV panel and unwrap it. This little third button on the displace modifier means you can still see the texture applied in edit mode, and as you can see at the moment, if I scale it, it doesn't make a difference. But if I change the coordinates to UV, then we can make our texture much bigger. Let's go back into this panel. I'll reset up here. Means you can see my key bindings. What I'm going to do now is change the texture to an image texture. So if you've got any textures, find a height map. It'll be a black and white image. So I've got this one of some cobbled floorings. And now when I scale the UV, let's just hide the wireframe on there. If I scale the UV now, you can see the pattern emerge. With this method, in the UV panel, you can rotate and edit, and give you much more control over the positioning of the texture. It does work with the generative ones, but I find it works much better with an image texture. So yeah. There you go. I'm also going to show you how to do this all on a square base, and you can use it to make multiple square bases that match up next to each other. So I will show you in just a moment. So to make a square base, I'd done it here with a cylinder set to 4 vertices, just because it meant I already had the thickness at that point. It does have its ups and downs. It's neither here nor there whether you use a cube and flatten it yourself. This is just going to be sped up. Most of it's exactly the same as what I'd already done. Add a lot of geometry. Assign the face groups, and then add your modifiers. Once you're all done, this is where things start to get a little bit different. So I will rotate this by 45 degrees because it's on a funny angle, and then I'm going to make a few duplicates of it. So there we go, 4 bases nicely aligned to each other. What I'm going to do with these, just make sure I've got the top faces all selected, and then in the UV panel, Pack Islands isn't the look I wanted, but it can be worth a try. What I'm actually going to do is project from view with a perfect top view. And then when you scale them all, you can see they should line up really nicely. It would show it more with an image texture or something if you had like a patterned tiles. What I can do to show it better is I'm going to rotate the texture a little bit, just once I get my bearings. With all the top faces selected, you can rotate them. As you can see, the patterns line up nicely. If you zoom in a bit more, I'll get a nice tile across the cross section, just so you can see it. But yeah, that's it. Enjoy and have fun with whatever you make. Feel free to let me know, and I'll see you in the future. Bye.